welcome again to Reyna Clothier. My name is Reyna. Today we'll be discussing the idea or the art of maintaining your garments, especially your suit. I'll be discussing more of your two-piece suit or even three-piece suit, but more your suit essentially. So I look at this as the owner of a made-to-measure company. My biggest idea of success is repeat customers, but at the same time having a client that says, hey, I've been with you for 20 years and these suits have lasted me for that long, that I bought from you 20 years ago, and I still continue to buy from you. So that is the highest compliment I can receive. So when I look at these things, I like to educate my clients as well, not just sell them a suit and say goodbye. Your suit is a part of you, it's literally on you. So when you look at these ideas of just longevity of a garment, is very, very high in our standards here at Reyna Clothier. So I want to give you a quick synopsis of how to maintain it, little tricks, if you will, or just how-tos and just quick tips, I call it. So first one is having a good hanger. you gotta have a great hanger, not those thin ones, those metal ones, none of those. You have to have a hanger that has a kind of a wide body at the shoulder part of the hanger, that will give it shape. It keeps it shaped. So when you put it on, you're not gonna feel like a line from it is gonna keep just its drape intact. And that's something that you want to keep as well, because that goes on your shoulder, so it starts from where it drapes essentially. So very, very important part. And before I continue, I want to preface this that essentially all of what I'm going to discuss as far as the tips, it came from one great gentleman that I learned, and I think is very high end, if you will, as far as his knowledge in the industry. His name is Jacome. You may have heard him. He has over 100,000 subscribers right now and is growing as well. His YouTube channel is called Sartorial Talks. Wonderful gentleman. I love to listen to him because it's just, you have to listen to the greats. And even though I have my company, I sold to many clients, but at the same time, he has this knowledge of a true bespoke experience. He's obviously a client of the bespoke world. He tried some made to measures as well, but most of his talks on his channel are from his experience of bespoke tailors. So the highest of the high. To me, I have this high respect for any tailors that do handmade work, as opposed to machine, or I call it mass machine. There are obviously small machines that you use, your sewing machine, but I call that still by hand. But yeah, it's just amazing, his experience. So I like to give a great shout out and a respect shout out to him. Again, I'm really just regurgitating what he says, but in my version of it. So I really appreciate the knowledge that you share with hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm happy to share that as well. But I do want to give that respect and that information detail that I would say all the tidbits I literally learned from his video. You can look it up as well. How to maintain your garments, I think it's called, or you can just type that in, or Jacome, or easier way to spell it out is Sartorial Talks is his channel. So you'll find him, and again, very respectable man in the industry, and I thank you, Jacome, and hopefully you continue to make great videos as well. So again, along from the good hanger is the 2 weeks. So if you have a 2 week or more where you're not wearing your garment, please bag it. Put a suit bag in over it, because you may have moths, and those are hard to take away essentially. So moths are these little animals that love fabric, as Jacome would say, is their high-end meal essentially. So definitely bag it if you're not going to wear it at least once every 2 weeks. And the second one is if you have it in, oh yeah, the two week or 2 times in a row. So don't wear it more than twice in a row. So and the reason for that is breathing. You got to let your fabric breathe. The perspiration, the sweat, you're gonna wear, and even if you think you're not wearing it or not having that perspiration, you're still handling it, if you will. It's still being is durable, so you are still stretching, you're still moving the fabric, so you got to have time for let the fabric breathe. So at least 24 hours essentially. So do not wear the same garment more than twice in a row. So the reason for that, or from that purpose, is to have time to breathe. So when you need time to breathe, part of that breathing process you can easily do. Jacqueline would go all as far as leaving it outside. I respectfully say a different concept, but he mentioned this as well. So I wouldn't go that extreme in my professional opinion, but very similar. Crack a window. So open up a window, have the garment hanging outside or hanging inside, right next to it, so you get fresh air. So don't have it directly in the sun too much, but you can still leave it right there, right outside your right by your door essentially. So that is a great way to let the natural air come and breathe into the fabrics, because again, it's made of wool. So you have to look at these as natural fibers, and natural fibers live off the land essentially. So that's one way you can do it as well. You can put it close to the sun, but not a long time, because it may change the color at some point again if you leave it for drastic times. So if you leave for 10 minutes, it may not make a big difference, but just remember that essentially. And then the next one is having a brush. So every time when you wear it, you put it on your nice hanger, but to put it back into your closet or leave it outside or leave it right by a window, essentially let the fresh air go through it. At that same time, just have a quality brush and just brush down any of these little knickknacks that you might see on your jacket that you might have caught throughout the day when you wear it, because obviously you'll go outside. So those are things that you look at as far as having just a nice way of maintaining your garment by having that little brush process. And it doesn't take long at all. Just do it really quick, essentially. You can also, I would say, the dry cleaning. So you can also dry clean your garments as well. Jacome would say this as well, and I agree with this part, is that it's not necessary. You can still, with those processes, you can still have a good garment. I would say be leery of your dry cleaning, because they use a lot of chemicals and over time. So not right now, not a year or two, but over time, number of years, yes. And if you do it, twice a week or every week, yes, it will damage your garments. So be leery of that. I have another channel I like to watch on YouTube. It's called Gentleman's Gazette. Great guy. Main guys there is wonderful. He has some additional gentlemen on his team now. So great channel. You should definitely look him up. Gentleman's Gazette. And they made a video about a dry cleaning at home. So, or essentially dry clean, but you use your washer. Real neat video. Look it up. You can literally just type in DIY garment or suit wash, and you'll find it one of the top ones. I like that process. It's really neat. You can, especially maintaining and carrying your garment, that is great. Let alone from saving a lot of money, you can also be very, very close to your garments and you cherish it more. So I really like that option. I'm a busy man myself. I have appointments almost every day. It's hard to take 3 hours out of my time, not including my family, just truly washing it. And I looked at it. It takes, yeah, it takes about 3 hours from everything essentially. But then you have to wait. You have to do all this work. Even though I really like the video, very informative, it's just time. I wish we had time because that will be the best way possible to care for your garment. So I really like it. If you have time, definitely do it because that's the best way. You know what you're doing to your garments as opposed to a dry cleaner. They use whatever chemicals they have over the years, so it just, you know, something is not going to go right over the years. So whether you take that compared to, hey, you know, I just don't have time, they do it. It comes to me in a couple day or so. So that's the only bad part that I would say I might not suggest it. That's why I would say, on the other hand, do those parts that I mentioned in the beginning. Your hanger, if you know, brush it, leave it right next to the window. You know, those, if it's not 2 weeks, if you're not wearing it, in 2 weeks, bag it. If you do not wear it more than 2 times in a row, because it has to let it. You have to let the fabric or the garment breathe. All those different types of knickknacks or those quick tips that will definitely help the longevity of your garment. So please do those, and they literally take almost no time. So that will definitely be a great way to make it a longer garment, last longer essentially. So do those things, and then if possible, you know, if you're wearing every day, you're sweating still, you still, obviously any type of odor type, yeah, you definitely take it to the dry cleaners. But if you have time, like I said, it's not long, it's not hard for the DIY process that the Gentleman's Gazette portrayed. So if you have time, do it, but you have to wait, you know, at least 24 hours to dry. You have to put it on the rack. That was the hardest part. You have to fold it. Again, it's not hard at all. It just takes time. So if you have it, I would suggest do it once just so you can see how it looks, and go from there. Like I said, I 100% agree with it, but as far as suggesting it as a common thing to do every week, I mean, you're talking about 2 3 suits for some of my clients that they wear every week, 2 3 of them. So that's when it takes more time essentially. So look those up as far as those two channels, Sartorial Talks with Jacome and Gentleman's Gazette. They're great. They're not sponsors. I'm not getting paid for anything. It's just from one gentleman to another gentleman in this industry. I really enjoy their content, and if it's of value, of quality to a gentleman's lifestyle, that's my free way of advertising for them, because I just truly like what they have as far as their content. So thank you for those gentlemen, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, look us up. Reyna Clothier, we are a made-to-measure company, started a couple years ago, grown little by little, and essentially referrals and social media is how I grow my business. So really appreciate any feedback that you guys have, and love to be a client of yours, a client of ours one day. And then also, we are having a online experience change, so I'm gonna revamp our website where we can implement a better way to buy online. It's more of a 3D look, so very user friendly. I'm really excited. We're looking at those things as well, so in the background, and it'll be coming out very soon, so I'm gonna be happy to announce that. So hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk again.